we have this kind of clickbaity headline today. We're probably not going to go viral very much on this podcast, only because I'm unwilling to say the things that are needed to say in today's competitive environment online to go viral, and I'm more interested in giving the truth seekers the truth. By the way, the most intelligent design that we know about is our own body. The molecules that you introduce into your temple must be worthy of being a part of your body. Subway has yoga mat ingredients in their bread, right? Like, this was true. So let me ask you something. How is it possible that the same product by the same brand is made one way in Europe and it's made a different way here? You should be skeptical for the following reason. Because American food is poisoned by design. Hey, Burn Nation. Welcome back to the podcast. It is DK, your co-founder visionary, and this is the Burn Bootcamp podcast. We got a great show for you today. They have been feeding you poison and calling it food. Okay, and we're going to just go deep in nutrition today. So hang on for that, because we're going to do a couple things before we dive into that. Like let you know about last week's episode 52, how to get lean at any age. We talked about hypertrophy, which is just a big word to say the maximum amount of muscle that you can gain. And it doesn't really matter what age you're at. It doesn't matter if you're 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. Start lifting today. That's basically the podcast. Go deep. We go for an hour on episode 52, and you can make sure, I know that you guys are binge watchers out there. You need last week's episode, you get caught up. And then you have episode 53 here with me today. And before we get into the nutrition side of things, we have a nutrition promo, because there's a big announcement here, Bird Nation. I know how many of you love Afterburn protein. It is the most popular product. And we are all about protein all the time. We just had some Burn On Demand members in here. We flew them in. We did a marketing shoot. I was talking to them around the table. And one of the gals said, hey, Burn Nutrition education, the stuff you put on Burn On Demand, Nutrition with DK, that helped me so much. So for all of you that are looking for some extra nutrition advice and some foundational nutrition advice, you can go there, BOD, and it's nutrition education with me. And we keep it very, very, very simple. We talk about boundaries in that. So that's a little promo for that. And that really helped her. So I wanted to kind of relay that to you. But ladies and gentlemen, we have just a nostalgic product ready for your consumption. We have been baking this nostalgic product behind the scenes here at Burn HQ for about 12 months now. And it is a nod to the past. So many of you love Afterburn. We're all about that protein. A nutrition education, you can learn about boundaries, and you have boundaries with your calories and your protein. But you need products to fill it up with. Okay, Whole Foods is where it's at. But then you have a supplement. You got to supplement your Whole Foods. You got to sprinkle in the supplementation. We found this out early on in Burn Bootcamp. We started Burn in 2012. And right away in 2012, I learned that what I thought we knew about nutrition as a country, we don't. It's not so obvious. It isn't such common knowledge. And so we started really teaching education, or educating on nutrition in focus meetings. One of the things that came up was that protein was deficient almost in every member that I had. I can't even remember a single member that was protein deficient when we first sat down. And we weren't getting all that from Whole Foods. So we went to the nutrition lab and we came up with our very first supplement to help you get all the protein that you need to get in on a daily basis without having to go to like GNC or Costco or Walmart and get the protein with the artificial flavors and the it's not very high quality. It's not very bioavailable. It isn't sourced well. It's made cheaply, so it sells cheaply. Long-winded way to say that this product that I'm about to announce to you is extremely important, not only to me, but to the Burn brand as a whole. And for those of you that are just seeing this for the first time and thinking, oh, what a amazing flavor and what a cute name. There's a whole story behind it. The very first Afterburn product was called iced cinnamon. Iced cinnamon, and it was said to taste like angel wings. And then we had since sunset, which is a corporate enterprise way of saying we allowed that to go away for a while. We stopped producing that to produce chocolate and to produce vanilla and our beloved cookies and cream as a seasonal flavor, where our next seasonal flavor is a nod to the past. It's the nostalgia of iced cinnamon Afterburn coming back in its reincarnated form in Afterburn cinnamon roll. Everybody, check out our advertisement. All right, everybody. Afterburn cinnamon roll is in gym right now online. Get your hands on it, and you guys can go to the shop.burnbootcamp.com. Chelsea, if you want to just go ahead and pull our site up there for folks at home and flash it on the screen so they can see where you're going with it. Shop.burnbootcamp.com. You got a little nutrition tab up at the top. And there we go. That's that cinnamon roll, that new flavor right there for you. Go ahead and cop some of that. Remember, by the way, if you shop online, your local Burn Bootcamp gets absolute 100% credit for that. We are a franchise system, and we never want to compete with our franchise partners. That is their opportunity and your opportunities to support your local Burn Bootcamp. So let's get into it today, okay? So we have this kind of clickbaity headline today, and you know how I feel about those things if you've been following the podcast for any amount of time. We're probably not going to go viral very much on this podcast, only because I'm unwilling to say the things that are needed to say in today's competitive environment online to go viral, and I'm more interested in giving the truth seekers the truth. If you are somebody like me who wants to seek the truth, who is skeptical about, who's optimistic, but also skeptical about the information that they hear from other human beings with selfish motivations, and you maybe want to run that through your own filter of curiosity and be equipped with the knowledge, the information, the intuition to be able to decide what's good for you, what's not good for you. Because one thing we do know is anyone that says, hey, you must do this or else something bad will happen to you. We want to run away from those ultimatums, okay? If you see those ultimatums, swipe next, delete, kill it, get rid of it, unfollow. And what we want to do is we want to have a conversation about the boring stuff. You know what? I'm a businessman, so let me give all of my business people out there just a little metaphor. In operations in a business, you don't want it to be exciting. You don't want it to be innovative. You don't want it to be all crazy and off the walls and new ideas all the time. You want operations to be boring, predictable. You want to know the road ahead. You want to be able to anticipate the future. You don't want to be surprised. Can I get an amen, all my business owners? You don't want to be surprised. If you're going into the office, you're working for a company, do you want to be surprised by the project that comes down the line? Or if you're at home with the kids, your teachers have an obligation to you to share with you the progress of your children. You don't want to be surprised at the progress of your business, of your family, of your division. Do you? We don't want to be surprised by these things. We want the operational side of our life, the blocking and tackling, the nuts and bolts, the crossing the T's, the dotting the I's, the checking the boxes, all that stuff. That's the operational side of life, and we want to make that very boring and methodical and repeatable. Repeatable is probably the key word there. So where I'm going to start today is with that word, repeatable. Repeatable nutrition is usually boring. It's usually the same stuff. It's usually, you usually don't have a high you usually don't eat like a whole pound cake in a setting and then go 2 weeks with only eating boiled chicken breasts. You don't have those big swings. Okay, you're more even keeled in terms of your nutrition choices. Yeah, you might have like a bite of a dessert once a week at a meal or something like that. And then you might, have baked chicken like 80% of the time with different seasonings. That's probably more of like the range. rather than this, and the range goes high, right? It goes like 30 days, I'm not going to have a carb, to I'm going to binge eat 4 bags of Sour Patch Kids on a Wednesday night at midnight, and then wake up the next day and pretend like I didn't do it. Okay, so we want to make sure that we take that emotional scale of food and shorten the emotional variance in terms of our food. Boundaries. If we have boundaries around our food, and I'll talk about some boundaries today, we can have more repeatable days. Okay? So by poison, what I mean, not to be clickbaity, but to get your attention so that you can listen up for a moment and learn a thing or two, is poison isn't instant death. That's not what I mean, okay? It's chronic damage. It's this low, slow folding of protein, this low, slow, damaged mitochondria. The mitochondria, by the way, are like the powerhouse of the cell. It's like the energy production center to the cell, and you want those mitochondria to not be folded, and you want them to be healthy, and you want to not put food. Remember this, guys. Every food you eat is made up of molecules. Those molecules are going to enter your body and interact with your molecules and become a part of you. Your food you eat becomes a part of you. If you eat a Twinkie, you're going to feel like a Twinkie. If you eat an apple, you're going to feel healthy and nutritious and vibrant. There's an apple energy that you get that you don't get when you get Twinkie energy. Twinkie energy is lethargic. We know the difference. Okay, so it's not knowledge equaling power, it's decision making. So know the difference between what is poison? Poison is the low, slow interaction of artificially made molecules that God did not design to interact with your molecules, did not design to be consumed by the human body. By the way, the most intelligent design that we know about is our own body. The most precious design that we know about, the most mysterious design that we know about is the human body. Therefore, your body is a temple. Therefore, the things that the foods that you put in it, the molecules that you introduce into your temple must be worthy of being a part of your body. How many of us feed our dogs or our children or our friends better than we feed ourselves? So poison is about eating the normal foods all the time. This is why our country is sick. This is why our country is obese. Nearly 70%. Chelsea, look up the current statistics. Ask GPT as of today, what are the current obesity and super obesity statistics in the United States? Last time I checked, it was high 60s. Almost 70% of us are sick from obesity. It is not a healthy thing, my friends. And if you ask somebody who is in that category, about 1 out of every 20 people, from my experience, will say, yeah, this is who I want to be. This is who I am. This is who I want to be. Big is beautiful. I understand the damage it's doing to my body. I don't care. This is who I am. And I'm not here to argue with you. If your outlook and point of view on life is big is beautiful and you understand the circumstances, I am here for it. Let's train hard. Let's get strong. Like, you don't want to focus on your diet a lot. That's great. As long as you know the risks associated, you're an adult and you're able to make those decisions. Okay, it's when the people that the other 19 out of 20 people who are in the obese or super obese category, and I've been there before. I was 40 pounds overweight. We were miserable in that state of mind. It wasn't something that we were happy about. So when you see the cover of Women's Health or Men's Health and it's championing super obese or obese people, that's the 1 out of 20 person talking then to the 19 out of 20. And this is why I have an issue with self-care in its current definition, because current definition of self-care is to have less accountability, not more. It's to, hey, let yourself just go and indulge into these things because you deserve it. When I think what it really should mean is, hey, no, you should go to the gym and you should work hard because you deserve it. Because you deserve to work hard. You deserve to feel how it feels to earn it. You should feel the feeling of accomplishment and honor and self-pride that is taken when you step over yourself to do hard things. You should feel the mental fortitude building as each time you do something that you don't want to do, that you become a better person automatically, even though you're doing something voluntarily that you don't want to do. Do you hear what I'm saying? This is the definition of what self-care is and self-love is. And it's in my worldview, it's not, taking bubble baths and eating Dove chocolate and saying I'm okay the way I am. So you guys know that I'm training Flint, so I'll tell you a quick Flint story. So Flint is in the upper 300s, and she's eating poisonous food every single day, and it's normalizing it. And I have a video, and I won't share with you the video until it's time, but I grabbed her in the focus meeting room, and I grabbed her by both of her shoulders, and I said, why do you want this? How bad do you want this? And she told me how bad she wants it. I said, how many promises have you broken to yourself? She said, hundreds. I said, are you God's child, and does God have more to give? Do you have more to give? Do you believe that you are God's child and you're here to serve and you have more to give? And she said, yes, I'm a child of God. I have more to give. And I said, then all of these self-hatred, non-loving habits that we've built to push God further away from us, to push even if you're not a religious person, it's like to push your true self, your true calling, the true version of yourself. Maslow's hierarchy of needs says that self-actualization is the highest form of need. Are you pushing, are you becoming all you can? Because if you're not becoming all you can, then you're not going to be as happy as you could be. And that's the reality. So flash the needs chart. You guys have seen this before. Maslow is the kind of modern day founding father of needs, and this is kind of how we look at it today. Tony Robbins sort of elaborated on this, but I like to come back to this one. Although I think Tony Robbins is a little bit more practical and more conversational. We can go over that if you guys are interested. Just leave a comment below. We can do a whole episode on the Robbins needs, because Morgan and I talk about those all the time. But these are the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and self-actualization is at the top. A lot of times we call self-care the psychological needs and the safety needs that are down deeper, or like the love and belonging needs. But the highest form of need is self-actualization, becoming all you can be. And so by operation, let's weave this back into where we just left off from. You need an operation system for your nutrition, because nutrition becomes then something that should be slow and boring and repeatable and methodical, that has boundaries. And when you do that, you see results like Flint. So Flint's latest, I think she went from 380 to 300, right? And if you flash this results on the screen, these were the results.
I think she might even be less than that now.
Yeah, she's less than that now. This is
was
how
back
old?
in January.
What are we looking at here, Chelsea?
The latest one here is January 22nd. So this is even, she's a month past this. I think she's even less than that now.
Yeah, definitely. So you get an idea of all we did with Flint is we said, hey, you have more to give. And then here is some boundaries. And the boundaries that we gave her was, and this is how you kind of, this is my advice for you, right? Like if you've been feeding yourself poison, it's first we have to admit it. That's what Flint did. She said, I have been just crushing bags of candy at night. And I haven't really told many people, in fact, anybody. And I have more to give. I'm breaking promises to myself. I know I'm done with that. That's not me, never again. So we created boundaries. That bags of candy can't even be in the house. That's a boundary. Because at first we have to a part of honesty is admitting that we don't have quite yet the emotional stamina or fortitude, or better yet, maybe the strength, the courage to believe enough in ourselves to have it in the house and not do it, which means we don't believe in ourselves as enough to not make mistakes yet. And there's some humility and removal of ego, but that's step one. And if you can raise your hand and say, I've been feeding myself poison. This is the reason I am obese or overweight. I've been calling it food. I've been calling it normalized. Well, it's very easy to normalize yourself in a country whose nutrition is all out of whack. Like our fundamental foundational nutrition is literally, my friends, since the early 90s when the food pyramid came out. Look at that food pyramid, Chelsea. We'll show you lots of pyramids today. The food pyramid came out in the early 90s. Compared to the one that we have today, it's literally completely upside down. Can you get a side-by-side, Chelsea, of early 90s food pyramid versus the new RFK pyramid? Guys, gals, literally, my friends, upside down. It's inversed this way. It's the complete opposite. It's not just like a little bit different. If you can't find it, then just show two images kind of back to back if we could. And they just basically flipped it upside down on itself. So here, let me show this first because I want people to see a visual. And I want you to see, okay, slide that over. Perfect. We're going to slide that over and we're going to show you. Can you guys slide that over for me? Okay, okay, we're going to see a visual from the left to the right. The food guide pyramid, the way it was from the early 90s, is on the right-hand side of your screen. Just pay attention. Look at the bottom level. It's grains. Look at the left and look at grains. It's completely flipped upside down. Look at the top of the food guide pyramid. What's the very, very top say, Chelsea?
Fats, oils, and sweets.
What's the very, very, where it says a little bit of that, right? Mm-hmm. Little bit of that. Where does it say healthy fats now?
It's at the top.
The very top.
Yeah.
So it's inversed, you guys. And there might be some nuances and people could argue of why it's not exactly inversed and it's not, but just the pyramid's upside down. And grains, which used to be the foundation, now we're saying like eat as few grains as humanly possible. That's what we're saying basically. Isn't it confusing? Doesn't it frustrate you to have a government who has no business in the first place giving dietary guidelines? In my opinion, I know the credentials of the people that actually make these decisions under the hood, and they're doctors usually. So, and even if that's not 100% true all the time, you should be skeptical for the following reason. Because American food is poisoned by design. And I'm not here to fear-monger you, but here's the actual reality. Let me back that up. It's poisoned by design. Let me give you a little monologue on this. I've been waiting to talk about this, everyone. All right? Can I have a soapbox real quick?
You can, go for it.
Let me have a soapbox, all right? Why is American food more harmful, more poisonous? Why are all these people out here like the Food Babe Army? I know her because she's local. She's here in Charlotte. And I shared a couple stages with her locally here back in the day. So I've been following her, and she's done some great things. If you don't know, her name is Vani Hari. She's the Food Babe, and she is like #1 warrior queen activist, standing up for all families and all moms, especially against big food like, the Kellogg's Corporation. There's a Kellogg's Corporation post right down there. Let's give her flowers. Go to that one. Let's just click on the Kellogg's one since I just named it. It's in the middle. Nope, it's down a little bit. She's been to the White House. Yeah, let's go that one. She's been to the White House. She's been on the doorstep of my hometown, Battle Creek, Michigan, at the Kellogg's headquarters. And, she does stuff like this when, the Roundup weed killer detected in Kellogg's and General Mills cereals, right? Like, this is an example of how American food isn't healthy, all right? And I'm going to get up on my soapbox and I'm going to go into my kind of monologue here because American food is different than all other food. There's a different standard. So let me ask you something. How is it possible that the same product by the same brand is made one way in Europe and it's made a different way here? It's got the same logo. It's got the same marketing. It's got the same design, the same leadership behind it, but different ingredients, my friends. Why do we have different ingredients? Well, We're talking about the difference between the North American standard for food and the rest of the world. Okay? This isn't like a conspiracy. This is actually how it works. And I'll explain to you how it works, because under the hood is capitalism, and under the hood is the greatest country on the planet. And so it's like, I think this is a conversation that gets left out in the activist world, although it doesn't make it an excuse for companies like Kellogg's to put ingredients in their food that they wouldn't put in other countries here in our children's food in America and poison and harm our children. Obviously, I'm ruthlessly against that. But how did it get here is the same reason that America's the best country on the planet, is because it was capitalism and it was focused on innovation and growth and prosperity. And that went too far. That went too far, and it crossed the line into the health and well-being of our children, and not serving the American people, but as serving the American marketing, government, corporate complex. Okay. And listen, I'm the last person to do conspiracy stuff, but this one is just so glaringly obvious, and it's not a conspiracy theory. It's actually just true now. And we will go into some. You want to keep that panel that you have up on GPT. We'll go into that in a moment, but I don't think. Like some people, I don't think there's a group of people sitting behind the scenes and they're like, ooh, let's do the evil thing and let's take over children's lives and let's murder children. Like that's not what I think is going on behind the scenes. It's all driven by pressure from shareholder value. And I'm going to give a little bit of grain of salt, but only a little one. Because marketing corporations, you now know the evidence. We now have the science. AI is like putting this stuff right in front of your face, unequivocally, undoubtedly. Now you need to make changes. Right now you need to make changes because Europe runs on like a whole different scale. Okay, there's a fundamental here, right? And here it is. It's that here in America, our system is built on innovations and incentives, and we run under something called generally recognized as safe, or GRAS, generally recognized as safe. And this is putting the onus on the FDA, or our government. It's putting the onus on them to prove that things are healthy. Now, how is this different than Europe and the rest of the world? The onus is actually put on the companies to ensure that the product is safe before going to government testing. So it's almost this difference of, hey, we haven't proved this is dangerous yet here in America, and we think it's probably pretty safe. So in effect, we're running a giant experiment on the American population, versus companies having the onus over here saying, this is safe. We tested it. We know it. We are third-party verified. We're going to give this into our governmental institution. In Europe, it's different. It's not generally recognized as safe. Okay, that's not their standard. They have a different standard over there. All right, and it's on the companies to make sure that the food they are producing meets those standards, which is why now Kellogg's, who is held to their foot is held to the fire. In America, it's not. They're putting ingredients in their food to make it cheaper, which have proven to be harmful. What did RFK just ban, Chelsea?
Red dye.
This is not a political show, by the way. This is about our children. This is about keeping America healthy, right? And just keeping the poison out of our food. What is the latest red? I think it was red dye.
40?
It was 40, maybe. What was the red dye that just got banned? And then let's ask a follow-up question. And how long was that generally recognized as safe? What was the red dye that just got banned by the RFK administration? Whether you like him or whether you don't like him, there's data behind it that shows like this red dye, what was it?
It was red dye 3.
F dye and C. Okay, blow that up for me, pull that in. So, thank you. So what we have here is F, D, and C, red number 3. The FDA formally revoked authorization for the use of FD&C3 in foods, beverages, and ingestible drugs. The action is effectively a ban under federal law. My friends, every doctor on the planet that you know, maybe not everyone, but I'm going to have some bravado with this and just be egregious here in my absolutism for a moment. Just bear with me. Every doctor you know, okay, outside of the select, chosen ones, they have told you if the FDA says Red 3 is healthy, then it's healthy. How long, Chelsea, was Red 3 widely regarded as generally recognized as safe? GRAS. How long was FD&C Red number 3 considered GRAS? Okay, and you're going to pull it up.
Yep.
Okay, so listen, this has a long history. This has a long history.
So it's well over 50 years.
Well, listen to me, friends, very clearly, okay? For over 50 years, 50, this in itself should make you skeptical of any time that you hear somebody in a white lab coat with a PhD. Listen, no disrespect. I have mad respect for doctors. I have mad respect for the medical industry and what it has done. Everyone wants to demonize it for what it hasn't done, and it's got some major flaws, don't get me wrong. But I'm also going to give it flowers. It's done some incredible things. I mean, we have some real cutting-edge, innovative stuff that we're working on. The CRISPR technology, are you kidding me? We can now fix genetic problems by slicing your DNA and replacing strands of your DNA with other people's healthy DNA. Like, we're going to cure cancer. We're 5 years away from curing cancer across the board with AI. Like biology is the first application worldwide that AI is going to change the game. In hospitals in 5 years from today, probably won't have doctors. We'll have doctors operating robots. So my point is, the doctor that you know and that you trust and that you confide in for nutrition advice, they're only looking to the FDA. That's their source. They don't know any better. That's how they are trained. Look to the FDA for your nutritional guidance. Stay within the confines of the FDA and the CDC. How many doctors even will tell you this? They don't study nutrition unless you're a doctor, a PhD of some type of nutrition discipline. If you're a medical doctor, what do you have? Maybe a course in nutrition, and anybody that's really good at it, because there's plenty of PhDs that are amazing with nutrition. It's all self-studied. But think about this. The next time you hear somebody say, I know that diet soda and aspartame, I know that you can drink it and it is proven to have zero effects on you, and we know this. We said this about red dye for 50 years. How far back does it go, Chelsea? What are we looking at? Break me down on the timeline.
Yeah, so the timeline breakdown on ChatGPT, this is kind of wild. So it was first approved for use in food in 1907. But in 1990, they banned it for like cosmetics and topical use. So we weren't allowed to put it on ourselves topically, but it stayed approved to ingest up until 2004, 2005, when they finally put that ban into place.
Okay. Do you guys hear that? 1907. Okay, I'll give us some grace because science wasn't where it is now. But do you realize what we just talked about? That I've taken, and now I want you to say, show me the top other 5 prominent examples of that. Because this isn't just a one-off, my friends. Here in America, the FDA and the CDC, what they say is generally recognized as safe, is merely an uninformed suggestion with the incentive monetarily from the marketing companies behind them. Show me the incentive, I'll show you the outcome. I am one person that you probably should really listen to on this topic, because I personally am at the intersection of this every single day. Big business, big marketing, nutrition. I know what it goes on because we at Burn and Burn Nutrition and all of our nutrition recommendation, we take it very seriously. We take this podcast very seriously. And we have a higher standard than the FDA and the CDC. We have a higher standard than listening to, some peer revised, even if it was human randomized control trial study, and listen to, one PhD who sells, a prebiotic soda that carbonation is not harmful to human calcium. Okay. Show me the incentive, I'll show you the truth. Or I'll show you the behavior or absence of the truth. So here it goes. Pull it up. I just wanted to show you other examples so that you understand what you're dealing with. Why, my friends, why this podcast is all about teaching you, helping you, suggesting to you to educate yourself and to be curious. Nobody should hold you more accountable than you. You only can hold yourself accountable if you have the knowledge. Okay, so check this out. Brominated vegetable oil, BVO, widely used in citrus flavor sodas. Oils wouldn't separate. FDA revoked its approval. 2024. As we're going through this, Chelsea, you're going to type in a new chat like number one, how long was brominated vegetable oil in production? And then second question for each one is, what kind of harm did it produce? Any case studies? Because I don't even know the answer to that question. We'll take it a layer deeper. But if you look at number two, so potassium bromate uses a dough conditioner in bread and baked goods to improve texture and volume. It's banned in many countries because it's classified as a possible carcinogen. And even in some states where, California is really feeling the heat lately, and rightfully so for specific reasons. But also California is the greatest state in this country historically. And if California is moving to ban it in food, their progressive mindset, where it does hurt them in other areas, also really helps them when it comes to nutrition consumption. And they're doing some amazing things in the state of California with nutrition as the number one dietary recommendation before medical intervention. So potassium bromate is banned. Okay, let's go down to number 5. I don't even know how to say it. What's ADA? Because I've never heard of that one. Azotic carbonamide.
Zodicarbonamide?
Yeah, ADA, used as dough conditioner. Also, this is the Subway one. No way. This is the Subway one. Do you guys remember that story? Bring the camera back. Let me tell you this quick story. Okay. So this is the American food system for you. Okay. I'm in franchising. I understand the Subway model really well. I understand unit economics. Franchising as a business, as a company, squeezes margins down. It's called margin compression. Subway felt margin compression, meaning their locations weren't making enough money. So they had to go engineer the food. We call it the value engineering of the 4-wall box. Okay. What that really means in franchising is that you go down your line items of all the ingredients that you have. Well, Subway did this exercise and they went and they stopped at bread. They said, gosh, our bread is too expensive. We're not making any money because our bread is too expensive and these other ingredients are too expensive. How do we get our ingredients cheaper? Oh, I've got an idea. How about you, team, nutrition ingredient team, go bring me back all the ways you can research to make this one ingredient cheaper, make our sandwich production 10% cheaper. This is the type of mandates that these executives give their teams. They'll give a KPI mandate, then the team will go out, they'll find all the information, they'll bring it back, they'll present it, and then this leadership will make a decision. Well, ADA, if you can remember, got headlines in the news. Type in Subway AD, whatever that word is, yoga mat, bread, headline, Chelsea, in like GPT or whatever. Keep multiple tabs open because I want to come back to this stuff. But there was big headlines. Remember the whole yoga mat, Subway has yoga mat ingredients in their bread, right? Like this was true. So realize what you're working with, my friends. Realize that if you don't take responsibility and create boundaries around your nutrition, normal nutrition, just what we call everyday food, is literally poisonous. Okay? They made the change thanks to people like Food Babe, thanks to people that put pressure on these companies. We wanted our children to eat Subway. We'll feed our kids some whole grain bread, but not if it's got Lululemon's yoga mat ingredients in it. We definitely are not about that life. Put some old-fashioned yeast in that bread if you want it to feel spongy. Feeding the people. Yoga mats? What are we doing out here? Come on, man. You guys get what I'm saying, though? This is about this is a personal responsibility conversation. The government's not going to do it for you. The CDC's not going to do it for you. The FDA's not going to do it for you. So if you've taken away anything so far, it's that poison in food is just normal. We've normalized poisonous food to the point which we are authoritarian figures are a better way to say that. The people we respect and trust, that we know, that we like, that we even love, that we respect, like the Peter Attias of the world. We got to be skeptical. Okay? We don't know what the hidden agenda is. This country has proven to us that we should be skeptical. Chelsea.
I actually pulled up a timeline of all the different ones that we just talked about and like BVO, and pretty much like the consensus is it's taken well over 50 years for all of these foods to actually become banned. So like BVO was 66 years from approval to full ban. Potassium bromate took over 100 years. ADA over 60 years. So
do you hear me? Right? I just want you to really listen to this episode. This is the quality of your life, because the molecules you put into your body, the ones that make up a yoga mat, the ones that make up FD&C Red 3, those molecules who are now banned from human consumption were for 50 years, 5+ decades at the least amount of time. 50 years. We were telling you that it's okay, that you could put this stuff inside of your body, and the molecules and the way they interact is, and nowadays you hear like, diet soda and Coke Zero and aspartame. You need to eat like truckloads of aspartame in order for it to have the effects. Or like, I'm not here for that. I'm sorry. It's not a popular opinion. But I am somebody who says, tell me who you are one time, I'm going to believe you. And I think you guys should believe them too. When they say, oops, what we thought we know was that this chemical was safe for you for 50 years. Oh, my bad. What we now know is that wasn't true. And we're willing to change our minds. So that's virtuous. We're willing. No, but you can't change your mind after for 50 years you were telling everyone you could come in contact with, never do that or always do that. And because I said so, because I'm a doctor and I know. It's going to keep happening, my friends, okay? And I know I'm on my soapbox right now, but I'm sick of it. I am. I'm sick of getting DMs. I'm sick of people who are in the public eye, who are medical doctors, coming out to be like just not good people of character. And then like, these were the people that we're supposed to listen to and your friends. I'm not here for it. Sorry. That's that. That's how I feel about it. Be very cautious. Think for yourself. This is a conversation of personal responsibility. If you can't pronounce it, azidio carbon monohydrate saccharide, whatever, ADA, I can't pronounce it, probably shouldn't eat it. And then here's what people will already do though, because I've said this before, and then people send me the picture of the banana with all the chemicals in it. But I'm like, that's the chemical makeup. Okay? Great. Thank you for showing the chemical makeup of a banana, something I already knew about. But if I showed you the chemical makeup of all the ingredients that you're claiming to be apples to apples, the chemical ingredients of a banana versus the actual like ingredient list of whatever wrapped, product, go ahead and show that. People will try to counteract this argument by saying, oh, well, I can't understand the stuff that's in this banana, so then what you're saying, it all crumbles apart. Well, that's a great straw man argument. That's a great straw man, meaning for those of you not familiar with the term, meaning a straw, like a straw man and like to scare crows away. Like a straw man of an argument means a hollow argument, one that's made just for me to smash it because it's easy to smash. Yeah, if I took the thing you're comparing this to, the Chick-fil-A sandwich, and took all the ingredients and then looked at their chemical composition, you don't have enough hours in the day to read it. It's a novel. Maybe try that. See if you can throw that up there for the folks to see at home. But you can't change the food system. So let's not try. What we need to do is change our curiosity. Okay? We need to change our mindset. Not like, I feel like a lot of you, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like a lot of us we'll put ourselves in a position of fear because we heard someone say, don't do that, it's bad for you. And we're like, oh, it's bad for me. I got a family to feed. I'm a responsible person. If it's bad for me, I can't do it. Then I get the panic DM, DK, like, what is that? What should I do here? It's like, breathe. Did you ask your 5 questions? Well, why? Why should I listen to you? And why should I do that? Oh, okay. Well, why should I do that? And why should I listen to you about that? And why should I do that? And why should I listen to you about that? And if you go 5 layers deeper and you can ask yourself, why? 5 times. If you can do that, now that's a good template for you to start to question everything. Okay? You guys follow me? Look at the top 55 ingredients. Each one of these ingredients in a Chick-fil-A sandwich has a chemical makeup. If I actually did that and showed this picture to chat, and I said, hey, chat, give me the chemical and compound of all these different ingredients, it would give me a list of probably, at least 2 or 3 for every one, if not 20 or 30 for some. Cool? So molecules, basically what I'm saying, you are what you eat, and you are what you have already ate, and you are what you already have ate with which they had ate or it had ate before you ate it. Energy cannot be transferred, created, nor destroyed. You didn't think you were going to have a physics lesson or a astrology lesson today, but listen, energy cannot be created. It cannot be destroyed. It can only change form. It can only change form. So the molecules that you're putting into your body, this is what Food Babe was saying about the ingredients in the Kellogg cereal, that the Roundup molecule was in the Kellogg cereal. So the Kellogg cereal, which has grains that were grown in a farm, were policed with pesticides by Roundup. The grains that make the cereal ate the Roundup, absorbed the Roundup, therefore the cereal has the Roundup, therefore the humans that eat the cereal have the Roundup, therefore the Roundup is poisonous to humans. That's it. That's the game. So we need to know where our food comes from, my friends. What are we looking at here, Chelsea?
It's the same thing, but for bread. So she did the same thing and found Roundup weed killer in popular breads as well.
Sara Lee, and I mean, even Dave's Killer Bread, which is very a famous, like, quote unquote, healthy bread. My favorite bread is Ezekiel bread. Sprouted grain. You got to get in the frozen section. And when we talk about, consuming grains, consuming sprouted grains and tubers, do you guys know what tubers are? Chelsea, do you know what tubers are?
I don't.
Tubers are like a particular type of a vegetable. It's a tuber is like a sweet potato, an eggplant. I think an eggplant's a tuber. It's the potatoes that grow in the ground. That's Ezekiel bread right there. So sprouted grain. Okay, you can get this in cinnamon raisin. You can get this in. So I guess my point of showing you the Ezekiel bread, get it in the frozen section versus all the other types of bread, is that this isn't a conversation about, oh man, now you're restricting all the foods that I can eat. No, no, no. I'm actually saying if you just draw the boundary on foods that come from the earth and that are verified that come from the earth, your new food pyramid that that completely reversed the food pyramid of the last 30 years. So sorry guys, our bad, right? For the last 30 years of making our country obese. Okay, now that conversation is over. They can't make you anything. Now you've got the information. There's no more, oh, well, the government said to do this. We got to take ownership. Okay, you with me? We got to take some ownership. So within boundaries, what food groups are you sticking to? Here's a good boundary. Meat, fish, eggs, fruit, nuts, legumes, tubers, all the stuff you see on your screen right now. This is what I've been saying. Get a lot of red meat in. Mix that up with some chicken breast. As many green vegetables as your little heart can desire. Make sure you have some fish in your diet on a weekly basis. Some avocados in your diet on a weekly basis. Some grass-fed whole butter. Don't be afraid of fruit. Crush it. Eat as much fruit as you could possibly eat. You're going to be full because it's so nutrient dense and calorically light. And oh, by the way, don't forget to sprinkle in some grains pre and post workout so that you can get those performance carbohydrates in. Performance carbohydrates are a carbohydrate I really want you to lean into, not just any carbohydrate. All carbs are not made equal. Monosaccharide, polysaccharide, there's a lot of different carbon structures when it comes to your carbohydrates. So performance carbohydrates, my friends, okay? So I think this is a really good conversation. I hope that you're taking a few things away from this. I would love to know at this point in time, if everybody wants to stop, leave a comment if you're listening on YouTube, or head over to YouTube and leave a comment, or if you're on Apple, leave a review and let me know what you're taking away from this, because this is one of those simple conversations in terms of the topic. It's like, how do you go from putting poison in your body and normalizing that to being curious and skeptical around everything that you put in your body? Where are the boundaries for you? What are they? And my question for you is this, to kind of make this helpful for you, because we've had a long discussion. So let's wrap it up. What is your boundary? Define that for me. If you want a little bit more than what I'm about to give you in the next 2 or 3 minutes here, you can go to Nutrition Education with DK on Burn On Demand and watch my 10-module series where each video is 10 or 15 minutes and it unpacks this in a deep way for you. But for those of you who have heard me talk about this, this might just be an easy reminder to ask you the question, what are your boundaries? Is there food categories that you're unwilling to go to? I'll give you my example. I am unwilling to drink alcohol. Not that I'm forcing myself to stay away from it every day. I just made the decision that I'm not somebody that's going to put that substance in my body. If you want to know why, it's not nutritional, it's spiritual. Because I don't believe I can break the chain in my family of poverty, of adultery, of everything you could probably think of outside of rape and murder. I don't think I can I know I can't break that cycle unless I set down the catalyst to that family lineage, the common denominator. If you go all the way back generations of clients and men, you get alcohol at the center of it for everybody. So I'm just unwilling to do that. It's a boundary. I don't demonize it. It's not a good nor a bad. It's a bad thing when it's too much. That's for sure. But I'm okay with some moderation. A couple times a month, great. Start to become a couple times a week. We're starting to breach the territory of, do I have an issue here? You need to look around the corner to really see. But this could be you with sugar. This could be you with a certain food group. I had a story of a lady that she just took the Chick-fil-A bread off her sandwich. Just one side of the bread, y'all. She lost 40 pounds by doing this one, having this one boundary. I didn't tell her to eat boiled chicken for every meal. She was eating Chick-fil-A like 3 times a day, I think it was something like that, something crazy. And she just took the sandwich bread and took one half off, threw it away, split the other one in half, put one on the top, one on the bottom, consumed the same exact dietary habits that way and lost 40 pounds. So all I'm saying is, what are your boundaries? It could be the smallest thing, and it's going to go forever because you're going to do it every day. You, my friends, you do not have to make big dramatic changes in order to get big dramatic results. That's, I think, a misnomer and a myth for you as a member, as an individual. This is a clip. They need to hear this, by the way. You guys need to hear this, by the way. So listen up, share this with a friend. You do not need to make big dietary changes to have big results, okay? The consequences of thinking that you need to have all of these dietary changes to have big results means that you end up overwhelming yourself with complexity, and complexity is the enemy, my friends, of execution. So if it's too complex and you have 1, 2, 3, too many things to think about, to do, if you believe that nutrition is so complex and it's like got all of these variables, then what we need to do is simplify so you can execute. Simplicity is sophisticated, okay? Simple is sophisticated. We're going to say, have one boundary. Start there. Have your one boundary. Make that one little tiny change. Take the bread off the sandwich. Have a window, a restricted eating window, where you consume your calories in. Have a caloric allotment range in which you do not go out of that no matter what. Have a hard stop and a line on sugar. Have a hard stop and a line and or alcohol. Have a hard stop and a line on no fast food. Start to create some boundary for yourself, a boundary for yourself, and make it a very, very simple, and like I work on with Flint, a repeatable, simple boundary. And if you do that, my friends, and you have your simple boundary, the likelihood that you're going to slowly and lowly poison yourself with bad food that this country has normalized to be good for you when it's actually not good for you. It's literally not good for you. We now know this. Okay, you're going to have a much higher quality of life. It's going to be more simple, more fun. You're going to be able to have more joy during the process. And this is the recipe for success. When you stick to the process will produce progress. Progress equals happiness. And when you are a happy mom or a happy dad, you have happy children. When you have happy children in chemistry, you have a happy family. And you can build just on the energy that is created from one simple boundary. That's all you need. One simple boundary to change the trajectory of your family and your energy. But it all starts and stops with your nutrition. And I mean that. It all stops and starts with your nutrition. All right? Well, I think that's enough for today. You guys, I would love to spend more time with you, but unfortunately, I've got a meeting here coming up, and then I got to get to noon camp. So what I'm going to leave you with is the following. If you want more from the Burn Bootcamp podcast, we have episode 10 that's right here. The number one question that I get: how do I, meaning you, stop struggling with food? I want you to continue your nutrition journey right here with us on the Burn podcast. And as always, my friends, subscribe here if you love it. All right. I know every YouTube channel, every podcast, or every time you watch a video, it says, please subscribe and please like and all those things, and it becomes white noise. But I want you to know that when I see a new subscription or I see a new comment, I really want to know who that person is. You know, the podcast is growing, and Chelsea and our production team, we want to know you. We care about how your individual progress is going rather than how big the podcast gets. Okay. So leave us a review. Let us know how that's going. Leave us a comment, and continuing watching this episode right here, episode 10. How do I stop struggling with food? Until next time, my friends, keep moving. 2 claps on 2. 1, 2.